I only dated you to get over my ex, she told me, after I paid her rent for 3 months and introduced her to my family. So I introduced her to eviction, debt collectors, and a group chat with screenshots. She's still texting my mom. She said it like she was offering me a compliment. I only dated you to get over my ex. She shrugged, pulling her knees up on the couch I paid for, in the apartment I paid rent on. For the third month straight. Like that somehow made everything make sense. Like that explained why I'd been bailing her out of bills, letting her cry on my chest at 2 a.m., introducing her to my goddamn mother. I felt something break in my chest when she said it. Not a clean snap, more like the slow unspooling of something rotting at the core. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I just stared at her, this woman I had fallen for like a chump, and realized I had been nothing but a transitional object, a warm body, a bank account, a bridge to her next chapter. Her name's Talia, 26, aspiring branding consultant, which really just meant she spent hours on Canva designing logos for people who never paid. When we met, I thought she was sharp, artistic, funny in this dry, cutting way that made me feel like I was in on the joke. We met at this rooftop poetry thing my roommate dragged me to, and she'd been ranting about how no one reads Audre Lorde anymore. I thought, finally, someone passionate, someone different. I was wrong. Talia moved in unofficially 2 weeks after a minor plumbing issue made her old place unlivable. She brought 2 suitcases, a cactus she never watered, and a laptop covered in stickers about feminism, astrology, and ethical coffee. I didn't ask questions. She was soft-spoken and sad back then, said her ex had wrecked her emotionally. I didn't realize until much later that she never actually ended things with him. She just hit pause and chose a more comfortable couch, mine. I paid her first month's rent because she just needed time to get her freelance work off the ground. Second month, she said a client bailed. Third month, she didn't even bother making excuses. By then, she was calling my place our home and talking about repainting the kitchen. I thought I was building something with her. I introduced her to my sister, who actually liked her, took her to Thanksgiving. She brought a quinoa dish no one touched and told my uncle his jokes were colonizer humor. And I still defended her because I was in love, or at least in something that made me stupid enough to ignore the way she never did laundry, never offered gas money, never asked how my day was unless she needed me to spot her Venmo transfers again. She always made me feel like I was almost enough, until that Tuesday night. She was scrolling on her phone, sipping wine from a glass my mom bought us when she thought we were serious. You were good for what I needed. I mean, don't take it personally. Everyone rebounds. That's when I realized I had been subsidizing her healing process. I didn't say much that night. Just nodded, went to bed, and stared at the ceiling until dawn. But something in me snapped back into place, one bolt at a time. She thought she could use me and walk away clean. She had no idea who she was dealing with. The next morning, I watched her sleep for a few minutes. Not in a romantic way, more like the way you watch a storm cloud roll in. Her face was peaceful, content, like she hadn't just gutted me with a single sentence the night before. I wondered how many others she'd said that to. Wondered if her ex ever knew she wasn't done with him while she was kissing me in my kitchen, wearing my hoodie, calling me her safe place. I didn't wake her up. I just made coffee, quietly pulled out my laptop, and started a list. Not a pros and cons list. A strategy. Every rent payment, every Uber ride I paid for, every DoorDash she begged for when she was too anxious to go outside. I tallied the totals. Not because I planned to ask for the money back. That ship had sailed, but because I needed to see it. I needed to stare at the number and let it make me angry. 3 months of rent, $3,150. Utilities, groceries, rides, about $900. Total, $4,050. For the privilege of being her emotional landfill. She finally woke up around 11, wandered out in one of my t-shirts, rubbing her eyes like a spoiled cat. "Do we have oat milk?" she asked. No good morning, no apology for what she said. I said nothing, just handed her a mug of black coffee and watched her face crumple. "You good?" she asked, sipping. "Never better." That weekend I told her she should consider going back to her old place. She blinked. "What, like, permanently?" I shrugged. "It's just starting to feel like we're in different places. You said it yourself, I was just a rebound." "Oh my God. Are you being sensitive right now?" She laughed, like I was the one being irrational. "That's not what I meant. I meant like, you were good for me. You helped." "I'm glad I could be your life coach," I said flatly. She stormed out to go clear her head, but she left her laptop open. Her texts were still up. I wasn't snooping, not at first, but it was right there. And when I saw his name, Elias, I clicked. She'd been texting him the entire time. Flirty, emotional, things like, "I wish we could just go back to how it was," and "He doesn't get me the way you did." One text sent during our first Thanksgiving together read, "Spending the holiday with his family. Kill me. I miss yours." That was the same night she told my mom she loved her sweet potato pie and hugged my grandma goodbye like we were forever. She was never mine, not even close. So I started planning, quietly, methodically, because if I had been her rebound, she was about to learn what it felt like to crash face first into a brick wall. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to turn everything she thought she controlled into a landslide. She'd never see it coming. The first domino I knocked over was the lease. Technically, the apartment was in my name. Always had been. Talia never signed a single document. I let her move in out of love, or what I thought was love, but that also meant legally, she was just a guest, a squatter with oat milk and trauma quotes. So I called the landlord, told him I'd be vacating at the end of the month and wouldn't be renewing. He asked if I was sure. I'd been a model tenant for 2 years. I said I was more than sure. What I didn't say was that I'd already signed a new lease across town. 1 bedroom, no roommates, no freeloading consultants, just peace and hardwood floors. Then came the utilities. I shut off autopay, gave them a disconnect date. 4 days after I'd be out. I'd be long gone when the Wi-Fi died and the fridge went warm. Let her explain to her TikTok followers why her ring light wasn't working anymore. But the crown jewel was the group chat. See, Talia had this little inner circle. 4 women she texted daily. I was Ryan in that group. Ryan the provider. Ryan the emotionally available partner. Ryan who was so sweet but not really my type. How do I know? Because I screenshotted every single message she left open on her laptop. I had the receipts. Literally. The things she said about me, my clothes, my job, my family, my body. He's like sweet vanilla yogurt. Not bad, just bland. Sometimes I fake anxiety just so he'll leave me alone. Elias said I look hotter now. Told him I think about him when Ryan goes down on me. LOL. LOL. I'd never felt humiliation like that. Not in high school. Not even when I got cheated on once before. Because this wasn't just betrayal. This was performance art. A curated campaign of deceit. And I had proof. I sent screenshots to the group chat. All of them. No context, no caption, just truth. 3 of the girls left immediately. One of them DM'd me later. I'm so sorry, I had no idea she was saying that stuff. She made it sound like you were obsessed with her. Talia came home that night like nothing had happened. I was on the couch watching Netflix with the same blank stare I'd had all week. She barely looked at me. Just mumbled, Elias wants to grab drinks next week. We're cool now. Isn't that wild? I didn't answer. She didn't notice. I moved out 2 nights later. Packed everything while she was asleep. Left the key on the kitchen counter next to a copy of the lease termination notice. At 9 a.m., she texted, where the fucks are you? Why is the Wi-Fi down? At 9:02, she called. At 9:06, my mom called. Ryan, Talia just called me crying. Said you abandoned her? I took a breath. She told me I was a rebound, Mom. My mom went quiet. I didn't explain more. I didn't need to. But what I did need to do next would be less quiet, because I wasn't done. Not even close. You know what's funny? She didn't cry when I told her I was moving out. She didn't even cry when the Wi-Fi went down or when the screenshots hit her friends' inboxes like emotional grenades. But she cried when my mom stopped texting back. Talia adored my mom, clung to her approval like it was the last lifeboat on the Titanic. She used to say things like, your mom makes me feel safe, or she gets me more than my own family ever did. And I believed her, because my mom is the kind of woman who makes you soup when you say you're tired and remembers everyone's birthday, even my ex's. So when I told my mom the full truth about Elias, the rent, the floating in the kiddie pool texts, she didn't just stop responding, she blocked her. And that apparently was the betrayal that broke Talia. She called me 17 times the day after I left 6 voicemails, ranged from weepy apologies to full-on rage. Is this because of Elias? He means nothing. You're being cruel, Ryan. You knew I was healing. Your mom blocked me. What the hell did you tell her? I ignored every single message, but I wasn't idle. See, the old apartment still had 12 days left before the lease ended, and Talia had no idea I'd canceled the utilities early. She also didn't realize the landlord was under no obligation to let her stay once I was gone. So I paid a visit, brought him coffee. We had a little chat about an unauthorized occupant still squatting in the unit. His response? Oh yeah, we'll handle it. Don't you worry. Cue formal notice of eviction taped to the door. Effective immediately. She called again, this time screaming. You set me up. I have nowhere to go, Ryan. What the fuck is wrong with you? I didn't reply. 2 days later, I got a text from an unknown number. Hey, this is Elias. I laughed out loud. Not sure what happened between you and Talia, but she's losing it. Showed up at my job, caused a scene, crying, yelling. Said you manipulated her? Manipulated her? Bro, I paid her rent. I ignored him too. Let them spiral. But the best part, the part that makes me feel less stupid for ever loving her, was yet to come. Because that group chat, those girls she called her ride or dies, the ones who saw the screenshots and ghosted her, They started talking, and someone, I still don't know who, leaked everything. Screenshots, voice notes, even a selfie Talia sent from my bed to Elias with the caption, "Can't wait till I don't have to fake this anymore." Her whole curated little online life, the aesthetic, the number soft girler stuff question mark, it crumbled. People unfollowed. Clients dropped. One of her branding gigs sent her a termination email with a link to her own posts attached. She showed up at my new place 3 nights ago, mascara smeared, hoodie half-zipped, hair in a knot that screamed, "I haven't slept." "Ryan," she whispered, "please, I messed up. I didn't let her finish. I just closed the door." Update 1. Okay, wow. I did not expect this to blow up like it did. First off, thank you. Like, genuinely. I thought I was going to get roasted for being too petty or emotionally unavailable, but y'all came out swinging on my behalf. Some of the DMs were straight up savage. "She rebounded into a buzzsaw" might be my favorite line ever. And a few of you, y'all could have careers in psychological warfare. Impressive. Also, to the person who said, next time she needs healing, send her to a hospital, not your lease, you owe me a keyboard. I spit coffee everywhere. Let me address a few things. Yes, my mom did block her. Not just on text, on everything. Apparently, Talia tried to message her through Facebook, Instagram, and even left a voicemail pretending to be worried about my mental state. My mom, not having it, she texted me, "Tell that girl to find Jesus and a job," in that order. Also, Elias is now persona non grata in her life. How do I know? Because he messaged me again, this time to apologize. Told me she lied about how serious we were and said he didn't know she was still living with me. Honestly, I don't care. Let them both rot in their little storm cloud of emotional chaos. And yes, she's still texting. This morning, she sent me a picture of a journal page she wrote about me. Said I was her emotional lighthouse and safe place. Girl, if I'm a lighthouse, it's because you ran aground and set the whole ship on fire. The new apartment? Peaceful, quiet. I bought new mugs, burned sage, deleted every photo she was in, even took down the stupid print she hung in the kitchen that said, "Live, laugh, love," like it was her personal mantra while gaslighting me. Part of me still hurts, I won't lie. But the other part? So here's the thing about revenge. It's not about rage. It's about rhythm, timing, precision, making sure every little piece falls into place just slow enough that the target doesn't realize they're choking until it's too late to scream. Talia wanted to burn bridges? I built a damn bonfire out of them and invited spectators. Let me introduce you to a little gem I hadn't mentioned before, a Discord server, specifically a private one called Freelance Femme Collective, where Talia and her little clique of digital marketers, lifestyle curators, and Canva-dependent brand strategists hung out. Think of it like a support group, but for people who think hashtags are personality traits. She added me to the server back when we were partners, so I could understand her world. I never posted, just lurked, and what I saw, screenshots of unpaid clients being mocked, private info shared casually. One girl posted an NDA-protected mock-up, and Talia commented, "Steal this layout for my next pitch lol." And the kicker? Talia had posted about me, dozens of times, complaining I was financially vanilla, bragging about how she finessed 3 months of rent like a boss, and one post where she literally called me her emotional support bank account. That was the post I saved, sent it, anonymously, to 2 of her biggest clients, attached with timestamps and links to her own public Instagram where she'd tagged their brand work. Within 48 hours, gone. Client dropped her. Another blacklisted her. One of them even reposted publicly that they were reevaluating our partnerships due to unprofessional behavior. I didn't stop there. Remember that group chat I nuked? One of her ex-friends reached out to me, said, "If you want people to know the truth, I can help." She helped. Together, we curated a little exposé. Screenshots, timelines, examples of her plagiarized content, and manipulated testimonials. No lies, just receipts. It started circulating in their niche community like wildfire. Subreddit threads, Twitter callouts, even a TikTok stitch from a mutual saying, "Y'all be careful who you hire to build your brand." Some of these girl bosses out here are just narcissists with Canva Pro. Talia's name was attached to all of it. And the cherry on top? A photo from her old apartment. Remember the one she never gave up? Yeah, turns out she never paid her last 2 months there. Landlord finally found her through social media, messaged me asking for forwarding information. I politely redirected him to the leasing office at her new, temporary sublet, the one she just tried to crash at after getting booted from my place. Eviction notice number 2, incoming. The woman who once said I was just a stepping stone was now tripping over every stone she laid for herself. And while she spiraled, posting cryptic quotes about betrayal and healing and losing yourself to find yourself again, I was sipping tea in my quiet apartment, watching the house of mirrors collapse. But I wasn't done yet, because she was still texting my mom. And my mom? She wanted in. My mom is a kindergarten teacher. Soft voice, floral cardigans, bakes lemon bars for her neighbors just because. But let me tell you something. She can go full nuclear with a smile on her face and never raise her blood pressure above 85. Talia kept texting her. After everything, after the blocking, the exposure, the evictions, she was still trying to get sympathy from my mom, saying things like, I just feel so lost without Ryan in my life. Do you think he'll ever forgive me? He's being so cold. He's not like this. Something must have changed him. And my mom? God bless her. She didn't block her again. She replied, not with love, not with pity, but with a level of passive-aggressive precision only a woman who's raised 3 kids on a teacher's salary could muster. Her first message, Talia, dear, I've been thinking about what you said, about being lost. Pause. Then another, sometimes when we treat people like spare batteries, we don't realize they can run out too. One more for good measure. If you ever feel the need to talk again, I suggest a therapist. Or a mirror. And then she blocked her again. Cold, clean, clinical. Talia lost it. Posted a black and white selfie captioned, some people are poison disguised as kindness. Then a story with a quote, you never really know someone until you disappoint them. Girl, I was the one who didn't know you. But what really nailed her coffin shut? My cousin. She works in PR. Like real PR. Not Instagram captions for kombucha brands. She saw all the drama. The Discord leaks. The subtweets. And she texts me. Is she trying to get clients still? Because her name came up in a pitch meeting today. I redirected that ship fast. I asked her how. She sent back the pitch deck. Talia's name was listed as a potential branding partner, with her Instagram handle on it. My cousin had added one slide between the bio and the pricing. Important notice. This branding consultant has been involved in multiple instances of professional misconduct, including plagiarizing client materials, publicly mocking clients in private forums, breaching NDAs. Screenshots available upon request. Talia's brand? Done. Imploded. The calls dried up. The emails stopped. The entire persona, curated, filtered, grift-polished, was radioactive. And me? I took a road trip. Just me and my playlist. Slept like a baby in the guest house of a friend I hadn't seen in years. Meanwhile, she kept spiraling. Texted from a new number. Said she missed the way I made her feel safe. I didn't respond. I was too busy booking a vacation. Somewhere without Wi-Fi. Update 2. Alright, internet. It's been a wild ride, and I figured I owed y'all a final update since things escalated. Again, first off, some of you are menaces in the comments. I don't even know how half of you thought of those revenge ideas, but I'm low-key scared and impressed. Whoever suggested I print the Discord logs on flyers and hand them out at her next pop-up market, evil, genius. I didn't do it, but I thought about it. To clarify a few things, yes, she really is still texting my mom, or trying to. Every couple days she tries a new number or email. Last week she sent a voice memo reading a poem she wrote called Seasons of the Heart. My mom forwarded it to our group chat with the caption, my gardenias are dying, but this is worse. Elias and Talia are not together. He apparently ghosted her after she showed up at his job again, screaming about betrayal and threatening to expose him for emotional damage. Girl, you exposed yourself. The group chat is alive and thriving. One of the girls I sent the original screenshots to actually reached out to apologize again and said, I can't believe I defended her. You deserved so much better. We've been texting. She seems cool, supportive, stable, you know, human. Oh, and the cherry on top? A few days ago, Talia made a whole post on Instagram. Black background, white text, super dramatic. It said, some people destroy everything they touch and call it healing. Comments turned off. Of course, but someone screenshotted it and sent it to me. Want to know what I did? I laughed, turned off my phone, and went back to the girl I've been seeing. Who knows what a relationship actually means? Anyway, thanks Reddit, for real. Y'all turned what started as heartbreak into a damn redemption arc. And to the folks still stuck with Italia in their life, take the trash out, then burn it. You ever sit in the quiet and suddenly realize you're really okay? Not fake it till you make it okay. Not I'm totally fine while rage pacing in the shower, okay? I mean that real. Still kinda raw but healing okay. That's where I was. Talia had officially gone off the grid, at least in my world. Her calls had slowed to a trickle. The Instagram posts got vague and poetic. Something about silence being the loudest answer. And when the moon disappears, it's not gone. It's just hiding. I assume that was about me, or Elias, or her last unpaid invoice. Either way, she was finally fading. But then came the weirdest twist in this whole story. My mom got a package, wrapped in pink tissue paper, no return address. Inside was a candle, one of Talia's old brand items she'd been trying to sell before her reputation hit the shredder. Taped to it was a note, in her handwriting. I know you probably hate me, but I miss your warmth, your tea, your stories. You were the mom I never had. I hope someday you'll forgive me. Please tell Ryan I'm sorry. Tea. I stared at it on the kitchen table like it might explode. My mom just sipped her coffee, looked me dead in the eye and said, she misspelled bergamot, and the scent is awful. Then she opened a window and threw it out. No drama, no speech, just air freshener justice. That moment, that was the true end for me. Not the revenge, not the exposure, not the evictions or client losses. It was that, watching my mother, who'd always been kind to a fault, say, no more, with a flick of her wrist. That's when I knew it was over, like really over, the last ember out. So I moved on, started dating again, slowly, intentionally. Met someone honest, direct, a little nerdy. She works in IT and hates Instagram. I nearly proposed on the spot. I finally bought that espresso machine I'd been eyeing for a year. Painted my new apartment's walls the exact blue Talia said made her feel claustrophobic. I call it Freedom Blue now. And when I walk past mirrors these days, I don't see the guy she called safe. I see someone solid. Someone who learned, who burned, who rebuilt. No more rebounds, no more rehab projects. Just me. And that, Reddit, is the sweetest revenge of all. Last one. Let's land this mess. About 2 months after the candle incident, I got one final message from Talia. A text. New number, no name, but I knew the cadence immediately. The tone. The way she capitalized important, but forgot punctuation. Hey, this is important. Can we meet? I need to talk. I have something to give you. It's not what you think. I stared at the message for a long time, not because I was tempted, but because, for the first time since this whole disaster started, I felt nothing. No anger, no twisted hope, just a clean blankness, like closing a tab you forgot was open. I didn't respond, didn't need to, but I screenshotted it anyway, sent it to my old roommate, the one who was with me the night I met her. He replied with one line, she must have run out of couches. That made me laugh harder than I had in weeks. See, healing doesn't come all at once. It shows up in weird ways, like being able to laugh again, like waking up and not checking your phone in dread, like realizing you're not looking for closure. You are the closure. Talia faded into the background. I heard through the grapevine that she's still trying to rebrand herself. Different username, softer aesthetic, new buzzwords. She talks about spiritual growth now and posts reels of her pouring tea and staring out windows like she's the protagonist in a French film. I don't care. I don't wish her well. I don't wish her harm. I just don't think about her anymore. Because here's what matters. My space is mine again. My bank account is mine again. My peace is mine again. And the next time someone tries to love me just enough to use me, they're gonna find a door where the welcome mat used to be. That's it. That's the story. I was the rebound. She was the wrecking ball. But I walked away whole. And she's still texting my mom.